You know that feeling when someone asks why you chose a Mercedes over a BMW, and you realize you can't explain it? Not because you don't have an answer, but because the answer is too big for a 30-second conversation. While everyone else is comparing 0 to 100 speeds and sharp cornering, you're thinking about the silence you get the moment you close the door. The way your whole body and that cabin become a single sanctuary. If this sounds like you, then you're not just a luxury car person. Maybe your mind works completely differently from 90% of people. Here's what nobody tells you. Preferring Mercedes isn't just about money. It's a biological response, and science agrees. So today we're going into the real psychology of why some of us crave a Mercedes. We're not talking about status symbols, resale value, or chrome grills. We're looking at what's actually happening inside the brain because, trust me, there's something much deeper going on here than just showing off. Let's start with the most common question. Why does driving a Mercedes feel so different from driving a BMW, like they're completely different activities? Here's what's actually happening inside your nervous system. When you drive a Mercedes, you're not controlling the world, you're detaching from it. BMW makes you feel the road, but Mercedes lifts you above it. Every steering input, every suspension movement, every outside noise that doesn't come in, your entire nervous system processes this in real time. Psychologists call this sensory regulation. When your nervous system is constantly flooded with stressful inputs, your brain looks for a different kind of flow. BMW's flow is adrenaline, but Mercedes' flow is presence. Your body and your machine become one. It doesn't feel like just driving. It feels like melting into it. BMW is built to connect you to the environment. Feedback, vibrations, engine noise. For some people, that's a thrill, but for people like you, that's noise. Isolation feels safe to you. This isn't being disconnected. It's actually being reconnected to yourself and to your thoughts. And here's where neuroscience gets interesting. Psychologists call this mental state flow, the state that a Mercedes drive forces you to embrace. It's that condition where challenge and skill meet so evenly that your self-awareness completely disappears. The cabin silence, the cruise control, the smooth glide. Your brain can't risk wandering because it's completely in the zone. And when the brain can't wander, it's fully alive. Regular cars don't give you this. There, the brain slowly gets lost in podcasts, to-do lists, and random thoughts. But here that's not possible. You are there, completely and fully there. For some people, this isn't just a preference, it's a need. Quick question. Does your brain get tired in places where everything is too fast and aggressive? Like you need space rather than an edge to feel calm? There's a reason for that. Research shows that people who are drawn to Mercedes score slightly differently on optimal stimulation seeking. This isn't carelessness, it's biology. Some brains are built to need control and quiet to stay active, so they feel like the day had some meaning. BMW culture is for people who want to fight. But for you, that environment isn't peace, it's sensory overload. Here the stimulation is real, but it's refined. The feedback is immediate but polite, and your brain rewards you for it. That clarity you get after a drive isn't just luxury. It's your nervous system finally getting what it's been asking for all along. Researchers call this executive functioning, a hunger for a refined connection with reality. BMW culture gives raw feedback. Mercedes culture gives curated power. And for some brains, there's simply no competition. Let me make this real for a second. Farhan was 30, dealing with the same noise and stress every day. He was exhausted. He got an old E-Class. He didn't get it to race. He got it because when he drove home, those 20 minutes were the most honest minutes of his day. No noise, just him and his destination. It wasn't transport. It was therapy for him. People on the outside never understand this. They just see an expensive car, but you see the version of yourself you actually like, successful, calm, and in control. Okay, controversial take. Mercedes' softness isn't weakness. It's its greatest power. Hear me out. Everyone knows Mercedes doesn't look aggressive. And for non-drivers, the conversation ends there. But for the drivers, something else is happening mentally. Softness brings authority. When a protective cage is this refined, you can't be careless. You can't lose focus. You are the complete owner of every second of your movement, and that responsibility doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like ownership. Like you're the main character of your own story, not a passenger. Something nobody talks about enough, the star. When you see that logo on the bonnet, it's not about status. Social psychologists call this in-group signaling. It's a silent agreement between people who understand that real power isn't in shouting. It's in silence. BMW drivers wave because they're sharing speed. Mercedes drivers look at each other because they're sharing a standard. Mercedes culture is built on shared poise and shared understanding, and this creates a real sense of belonging, not with a brand, but with a particular way of seeing the world. Escaping modern life is impossible. Notifications, obligations, the noise of being constantly connected. But inside a Mercedes, all of it gets filtered out. You are fully switched on, but in a completely calm way. Driving isn't your hobby, it's your reset button. So if you prefer Mercedes over BMW, what does that say about you? It says you prefer authority over action. You understand that real luxury isn't speed, it's peace of mind. You don't just want to reach somewhere, you want to arrive there whole. So next time someone asks why you spent that much money on comfort, just tell them it's not just comfort, it's sanity. We're not avoiding the road, we're dominating it on our own terms. So when did you know? Was it the first time you saw the star on the bonnet? Or the first time you felt that silence? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe for more.